Hello and welcome to the Doctor Who Show. I'm Dave.
And I'm Rob.
And in this month's episode, we will be talking about the BBC 8th Doctor adventure Father Time. Now, we don't assume everyone who's listening to our episode will have read Father Time, or certainly not read it recently. So this is a nice synopsis for everybody, Rob.
Yes, it is. If you're well familiar with Father Time, just skip on. We're not going to be reviewing it or anything here. This is just what happens in the story for those who need to know.
Yes, but it will be a complete synopsis, so if you do not want spoilers for a 20-something-year-old book, then don't listen to the full synopsis.
Almost 25 years, Dave, my God.
Almost 25 years, gosh.
Yeah.
So yes, we will just be giving you a synopsis of each chapter, just a few sentences, and then in a couple of days' time, we will drop our episode with our chat about it.
Let's do it.
Part 1, Battle of the Planets, the early 1980s. Chapter 1. Deborah Castle, a teacher living in Greyford in the northeast of England, is driving home. She hits Arnold Knight, a UFO spotter who was running away from a giant metal monster. As Deborah attends to Arnold, a couple arrive in a black Volkswagen. Deborah asks them to get help, but the woman, who speaks with a man's voice, and the man, who speaks with a woman's voice, just laugh and drive off. Deborah then spots a farmhouse in the nearby valley and goes for help.
Chapter 2. At the farmhouse, Deborah finds a police box, but when she tries to pull the hatch open to access the telephone inside, it won't open. There's no reply in the house, and she enters and finds the doctor, who lives there. An ambulance is called, and the doctor and Deborah walk back to her car to ensure Arnold is looked after. Deborah is intrigued enough by the doctor to invite him to chess club at her school the next Tuesday.
Chapter 3. Just before the Doctor arrives for chess club, Deborah has another run-in with the strange couple in the Volkswagen. The Doctor then takes over the chess club, playing every student plus Deborah simultaneously. He is quite interested in one student, Miranda, who is clearly excellent at chess and admits she's letting the Doctor win. The Doctor then becomes even more curious when Deborah reveals Miranda has two hearts.
Chapter 4. Daz Lewis is waiting in a park for a girl, Julie, when he overhears the strange couple from the Volkswagen talking about the Doctor. He decides they're related to recent UFO sightings, and a conversation ensues where they confirm to Daz that they're aliens. Meanwhile, at the school, a conversation between Miranda and the Doctor reveals his missing memories, and he recognises that both he and Miranda have lower than usual body temperatures. It closes with him offering extra tuition for Miranda to her mother.
Chapter 5. The Doctor meets Deborah in a bar where she senses his sadness, but doesn't fully understand it. Her husband Barry arrives and plays the Doctor at snooker, leading to a comedic scene. The Doctor leaves the bar, watched by the mysterious couple in the Volkswagen, to visit Arnold in hospital. Arnold tells him of being chased by a robot before the accident. The Doctor uses the trip to also look at Miranda's medical files. After he is gone, the couple arrive and execute Arnold on the orders of the mysterious Mr. Gibson.
Chapter 6. The Doctor is spending time tutoring Miranda. Meanwhile, Deborah is being warned off seeing him again by Barry. Later, the Doctor confronts the mysterious couple, Rum and the Lash, in their car parked outside a shop. During the exchange, Rum places a mini nuke in the Doctor's pocket. That night, the Doctor visits Deborah while Barry is out and asks her to come looking for aliens. They find the couple calling down a UFO. Two men emerge from it, and the Doctor confronts them all, asking if they have come for Miranda.
Chapter 7. Miranda is having bad dreams and tells her parents the Doctor's been talking to her about aliens, which makes them angry. Back at the UFO, the Doctor and Deborah are taken inside and held while the two aliens from the ship, Prefect Zevron and Deputy Salak, meet with Rum and Telish. Later they meet with the Doctor and Deborah, explaining that Miranda is the last one, born of an imperial family 1,000,000 years from now, and they are pledged to kill her. The Doctor refuses to help and is incapacitated.
Chapter 8. The Prefect and the Deputy leave the UFO in search of Miranda. The Doctor awakes and escapes with Deborah. Rum and the Lash have a brief encounter with them, but let them escape and remain on the UFO. Outside, in a nearby car park, Barry has arrived with a 17-year-old he's having an affair with. The Doctor and Deborah arrive, and the familiar Volkswagen parked there turns into a Transformers-like robot. This is Mr. Gibson. Meanwhile, the Prefect and the Deputy are attacking Miranda's home.
Chapter 9. The Doctor, Deborah and Barry are fleeing Mr. Gibson, who crashes into a ravine. Not finished, it climbs back up, and the Doctor rams it with Barry's car, destroying it. The Prefect and the Deputy kill Miranda's parents, but in battle with the Doctor, the Prefect dies, the Deputy is captured, and Barry loses his mind. Rum and Talish see all of this happening from the UFO and detonate the mini-nuke, but realise too late the Doctor's coat was left on board, and so destroy themselves and the UFO.
Part 2. Masters of the Universe. The mid-1980s. Chapter 10. We learn that the Doctor is making great money as a business consultant. Deborah is visiting Barry in his permanent coma in a hospital. She tells him that a girl has started at her school who is clearly the daughter of Barry and the 17-year-old Julie from years earlier. Julie is also the girl Daz Lewis was waiting for in the park. Meanwhile, we see the deputy, or John Salak, in jail with his cellmate Joel. The two stage a breakout, and the news is passed to the Doctor by a friend, Dr. Anderson.
Chapter 11. Miranda is at school swimming with her friend Dina. Dialogue in this section, and in the previous chapter, is suggestive of Miranda growing up. Just to reinforce that, Miranda talks about turning 16. Meanwhile, Salak is on a council estate, hiding out with Joel and Joel's girlfriend. He beats up some local youths who try to mug him, and takes their money. Returning to Joel's flat, he builds a device that calls Farron, the brother of Prefect Zephyron, to rescue him. Farron arrives alone, seemingly stepping out of thin air.
Chapter 12. We gain more insight into Miranda. In contrast to Dinah, she is uninterested in sex and is quite asexual, but is encouraged to invite a schoolmate, Bob, to a party. Meanwhile, Salak goes to Barry's bedside, revives his mind, and once Deborah arrives to visit him in hospital, murders Barry in front of her with a ceremonial knife. The Doctor then receives a sinister phone call with an address for where he can find Deborah. He leaves for the north.
Chapter 13. The Doctor drives north and finds the tower block where Deborah is being held. He notes Salak has brought in some troops, knocks out a guard, steals his uniform, and hides him in an abandoned apartment. He then alerts the other guards to the Doctor being in the apartment and is appalled to see them rip the apartment apart with gunfire, killing the guard. He escapes in the confusion. Meanwhile, Miranda is getting a crash course in comics from Bob. The Doctor finds Deborah, however, Selleck then finds them both.
Chapter 14. The Doctor is hooked up to a mind probe, but proves to be very resourceful in resisting, to the degree that he takes over his interrogator's mind and convinces his heart to stop beating, killing the man. Farron then takes over the interrogation, trying to find clues in the Doctor's memory to where Miranda might be. Down south, Miranda notices the TARDIS light flashing in the dark, so goes out into the garden to investigate. She catches a glimpse of the young man, Farron, who is somehow astral projecting in his bid to find her.
Chapter 15. The Doctor and Deborah are now trapped up north in a solid metal room with no obvious door or way of escape. Meanwhile, Farron has travelled south physically and is posing as a student at Miranda's school. He comes to her and Dina's attention at the swimming pool, where he races Miranda. Farron later follows her into the female change room to kill her, but is foiled by a staff member. Dina invites him to a party, and Farron, who is clearly still learning Earth habits and comes across as very awkward, accepts.
Chapter 16. Joel and his girlfriend Kirst are concerned for the Doctor and Deborah, and so enter their cell. The Doctor convinces them to switch sides and let them escape. As part of the escape, the Doctor uses a transmutation machine the aliens had brought along, which can make anything, to start converting objects into roses, even one of their guards. Suddenly, the whole tower block is being converted into roses. Meanwhile, Miranda is at Dinah's party, and Farron has been unable to get her alone. She has her first kiss with Bob.
Chapter 17. The Doctor, Deborah, Joel and Kirst escape the tower block, which is fully converted into roses, overloading the machine. The Doctor writes the couple a cheque for £1 million. Miranda and Bob are sleeping over at Dina's after the party, and Miranda determines to enter Bob's room, and if sex happens, it happens. She finds Bob's room empty, and then discovers him having sex with Dina in another room. She flees the house where Farron, lurking outside, spots her. Before he can do anything, the Doctor arrives.
Chapter 18. Miranda prepares for school the next day. Deborah is staying at their house. Bob shows up, and the doctor doesn't fully grasp what has transpired in the past 12 hours and drives him and Miranda to school. Bob tries to apologise and Miranda flattens him. Meanwhile, Salak arrives in town and links up with Ferrin. Later, Miranda is in a park feeling very out of sorts with the world. Ferrin arrives acting sympathetically and suggests she's a rebel for once and ditched school.
Chapter 19. Miranda and Ferrin go to a bar where Ferrin's alien rudeness sees them kicked out before he can kill Miranda with a poisoned drink. Outside, she's almost hit by a car and he saves her life. They kiss. Miranda takes him to her home where they fool around. When the adults return, Miranda hides Ferrin, but Deborah senses she has a boy over and keeps the secret. Back in her bedroom with Ferrin, he confesses how much he knows about her and that she must die. He pulls out his knife.
Chapter 20. Ferrin tells Miranda about many things, including her original Earth parents, the Time Lords a million years into the future and what monsters they are, and how she's the last in the line and should die. He tells her the Doctor is also a Time Lord, but from an earlier time, and is also a war criminal. He finishes by declaring he has, however, fallen in love with her. She goes downstairs and confronts the Doctor on all the missing information she was never told. Ferrin appears behind her, declaring he wants her to go back to the future with him. She refuses, and in a struggle, the Doctor uses the single-use time bracelet on Ferrin's wrist to send him into an unknown location in time and space as the coordinates weren't set. Salak, armed with a gun, has been surveilling the house and makes his move. Miranda and Salak fight, and she beats him, heeding the Doctor's advice not to kill him as the police are on their way. When Salak goads her, however, she shoots him dead. The Doctor tells her to leave and takes the gun from her. The police soon arrive and tell the Doctor to drop the gun.
Part 3. Defenders of the Earth. The late 1980s. Chapter 21. The Berlin Wall is falling, and it's hinted the Doctor played a part while there, searching for Miranda, who has run away to travel the world. Miranda is actually in India, but is then captured by a UFO. Commanding the UFO, which has time travel abilities, is a middle-aged Ferrin. Miranda uses the ship's psychic circuitry to contact the Doctor, who we learn wasn't jailed for killing Salak through a self-defense plea, to warn him what's happening. The UFO will leave in 3 days.
Chapter 22. The Doctor is travelling to the US by Concorde with Deborah, with a plan to steal a space shuttle to rescue Miranda. Meanwhile, on Ferrin's enormous ship, which we learn is called Supremacy and is a relic from an earlier time and not a Time Lord creation, despite its time travel capability, we learn more of his plan to have an offspring with Miranda either directly or through his deputy Kate carrying the child. For the moment, however, Miranda is kept in the dark about this and simply given a tour of the vessel.
Chapter 23. The Doctor and Deborah masquerade as shuttle technicians and sneak onto the shuttle at the last minute before it's locked down prior to launch. They wait for hours until takeoff and, once in orbit, reveal themselves to the crew. The crew ascertain they aren't dangerous and are in the process of communicating the problems with NASA when their orbit takes them within visual range of Ferrin's ship. This changes everything. A new protocol is enacted, NASA is informed, the UN is involved, and the Doctor is asked for information.
Chapter 24. We learn that Ferrin needs Miranda to access a place called the Labyrinth, which is a repository of the knowledge of the Time Lords. He will use this to rule the universe. We also learn that Kate is actually an advanced android based on Miranda. She has aged into her mid-30s while travelling with Ferrin, which is why Miranda didn't notice it right away, and he treats her in a master-slave kind of way. Miranda finds this wrong, and upon learning Kate has no programming to stop her attacking Ferrin, encourages her to do so, but Kate is beaten down. With the space shuttle approaching, Ferrin is taken to the flight deck while Kate begins a plan to get Miranda off the ship. The Doctor tricks the Supremacy's computer into shutting down by imitating Ferrin's voice control, and the shuttle docks.
Chapter 25. The Doctor, Deborah and one of the shuttle crew, Mather, make their way through the ship looking for Miranda. Meanwhile, Miranda and Kate are fighting it hard to get around the ship with the power now shut off and run into 2 escaped slaves who they form an uneasy alliance with. The Doctor and Deborah are cut off from Mather, who heads back to the shuttle while they continue on and find Miranda's room. Deborah operates the door to the room and is killed by a booby trap. Inside, Ferren is waiting to fight the Doctor.
Chapter 26. Ferren and the Doctor fight, and while the Doctor initially does well, he's beaten up quite badly. Kate arrives, checks the Doctor, and lies to Ferren that he's dead. Ferren returns to the flight deck, leaving Kate to clear up. Meanwhile, Miranda has started a revolution among the slaves on the ship, which Ferren notices from the flight deck. There's a reunion between the Doctor and Miranda. Ferren commands the ship to turn off its life support. Kate, who by now has returned to him, tries to stop this from happening, but is shot.
Chapter 27. The Doctor and Miranda break into the flight deck where they confront Ferren. Kate, still alive, scurries out of the way. The Doctor again impersonates Ferren's voice to hand control of the ship back to himself and Miranda. Ferren then transmats himself out of the flight deck to the ship's time engines, which he sabotages. The Doctor and Miranda make their way to the engine room, where time spillage has killed the crew, but doesn't affect them. The Doctor realigns the engines while Miranda comes to an arrangement with Ferren.
Chapter 28. Miranda presents herself before the crew and the former slaves of the Supremacy, announcing herself as Queen of the Universe. Ferren backs her up, stating that if he can change his ways, anyone can. Miranda's plan is, essentially, to take power so no one else can have it. She then begins decreeing a form of anarchic freedom for the Empire and the whole galaxy. The Doctor's impressed with her and happily leaves with the shuttle crew headed back to Earth. We sense he's already getting a good feel for who he is again.
And that's the plot of Father Time.
There it is. So, no discussions here, folks, but join us in the monthly show for our discussion of it.
Yep, fantastic. We hope we'll talk to you in a couple of days' time.
See you then.
Bye.